We have a blank page, and that's how all stories begin. This one is All Trick No Treat by Jay Wilburn, and let's see if we can make something out of that. All right, the last thing Crew's father ever said to him was, "This is your last Halloween. You're too old for it already. So make the most of it while you still can." Crew had been. Hold on a second. Crew had been at a loss for words. It seemed so sharp and dismissive of something benign like trick-or-treating. I know that has dashes in it, I'll get to it later. Something benign like trick-or-treating. He and his friends were in high school, probably too old for it. Crew and his buddy Reed. Alright, let me fix something there. Crew and his buddy Reed were both short for their age, with masks on. They'd probably pass for younger just fine. Atticus and Brady were another story. But it was Halloween. So Crew did plan to make the most of it. Alright, apparently I put too many E's in Halloween. I'm just so excited about writing this, I guess. Alright, now let's get into some stuff. Alright. They went through the neighborhood as far as Galba Street. There were more lights out than on, so the pickings were kind of slim. We make up for it in volume, Brady said. This is our year. My dad was weird about it, Crew said. The others stopped and exchanged looks. Atticus asked, "What do you mean?" "I don't know." He was just kind of pissy about me going out this year. He thinks I'm too old. Alright, I heard something fall outside. I don't know if it's a branch or what. Kind of weird. I'm gonna go look real quick. I know that's kind of a weird thing to do on stream, but hold on. Sorry about that. I don't see what it was. It sounded like it was close, though. Maybe it was in the back. We have a lot of trees around us. It's always good when a limb falls but doesn't land on the house. All right. I don't know. He was just kind of pissy about me going out this year. He thinks I'm too old. My dad, too, Brady said. We are kind of old, Reed admitted. It's a real shame. Okay, let me fix something right there. It's a real shame. Trick-or-treating is my favorite. He said this was my last year doing it, Cruz said. The others exchanged a look again, and Crew felt bad, like he was the one dragging down everyone's evening. All right. Atticus said, we should keep going. If this is the last time, we're going to rack up years worth of candy. Okay, let me end that there. The others laughed, and they finished both sides of Galba Road. Crew shook his bag, about half full, ready to head back. No, the other three guys said. All right. They worked one side of Nancy Klein. I got street names and guys' names written down here for this story. Nancy Klein Lane. When Crew made to cross the intersection, across the street. At the intersection, Atticus said, wait, let's keep going. And then hit the other sides on the way back. Other sides? Crew asked. As in plural. Multiple more streets, you mean? Reed said, it is last Halloween, so Let's make the most of it. Crew thought about his father again before he could weigh in. The other two agreed, so it was decided. All right. They trick-or-treated down one side of Walker Crest. It was a long road. Some people looked them up and down. All right, I'm going to make this a new paragraph. Okay. Some people looked them up and down before dropping in candy and closing the door. There was no oohing or eyeing over their costumes. Alright, I think I reversed the vowels there. Alright, oohing and eyeing over their costumes. One man shook his head and closed the door without giving out candy. That's an egging offense, Reed said. Let's just keep going. Atticus decided for the group. A couple women said, "Aren't you boys kind of old for this?" Okay, both times. All right, both times Brady said, "If you call us boys, we must still be young enough." That got them candy both times, and the boys contained their laughter almost to the end of the drives. Other side of the road, on the way back, Crew asked, "You have a big date or something?" Atticus asked. "I want to go to bed sometime tonight," Crew answered. "He does sound old," Brady said. "We should get him a walker for the way back. Or one of those scooters, Reed said. Let's say crew set his heavy candy bag. All right, let's spell something right here while we're here. Set his heavy candy bag down so he could flip both his middle fingers. Okay, got an extra word there. So he could flip both his middle fingers at them. They laughed, and the boys continued onward as if that decided the matter. All right. The next streets were ones crew did not recognize at all. They trick or treated down Toronto, Silent Mountain, and War Fallen Pass. Okay. Let's see. All right, we'll do a new paragraph here too. Fewer people answered the doors, but the houses were elaborately decorated, and there were lots of bowls. There were lots of bowls that said "Take two." There were lots of bowls that said "Take two." The boys split the entire bowls between them. All right. There were lots of bowls, let's say with signs that said "Take two." The boys split the bowls between them. Crew looked up at the orange pink moon and said, "We need to go back while we still know the way." One more street. All three of the others said at once. Crew expected them to laugh at that, but they just met eyes and looked away from one another. What's going on with you guys? He asked. Atticus shrugged. What do you mean? You're all acting weird. Crew said. Weird how? Reed asked. Crew shrugged, but answered anyway. You're not acting like yourselves. You're all acting like something is wrong, but none of you are saying so. All right. Brady finally spoke up. It's just kind of sad. This will be the last time. Well, crew paused, and a wave of sadness fell over him too. It was kind of surprising. He had to fight back the urge, say the need to cry or sniffle. We have to go back sometime. One more street, Atticus said, without looking at him. Then that will be it. I promise. Okay. Crew took up his overfilled candy bag, and they made the next turn. The street was headed by a sign made entirely of black iron, not the green reflective signs they had passed earlier in the night. This street was Ordeal Cut. Hell of a name, crew thought. Alright. Moving right along here. The houses were all dark as far as he could see. Alright, let's say crew stopped. This is pointless. It's late, and all the lights are out. We just need to... Alright. Atticus shoved Crew forward step. Just keep going and stop being a baby. What the hell is your problem? We said just one more street. Atticus growled between his teeth. Fine. Cruz said, but the street is dark, so we're done. Atticus reached to shove Crew again, but Crew lashed out and shoved Atticus so that he staggered back a few steps. All right, hold on just a second. I forgot to put a sign on the door. People don't know I'm recording if I don't have that out there, and then they walk in. All right. Staggered backward a few steps. He dropped his bag of candy and the treasure of that final trick or treating trip spilled across one dark lane of the neighborhood street. All right. Brady and Reed looked to one another. Brady said, "Let's just go to the end and then we'll call it a night." Atticus balled his fists and took a step forward. Crew dropped his bag at his feet and brought his own hands up to chest level. He was shaking and hadn't been in a fight his whole life. But his reaction stopped Atticus in his tracks, at least. Atticus said, "We're going to the end of the street, and that's it." Why? Crew didn't like the shake in his voice. We just have to, Brady said. All of us. I don't have to do anything, Cruz said. Say he didn't even bother to pick up his bag of candy as he stalked around the others to the front of the neighborhood. Let's see, Atticus wheeled around the others. Let's say Brady wrapped up Atticus in a bear hug, and said, "Let him go. We'll all go to the end of the street without him." Atticus struggled, but Brady wouldn't let him go. Crew needs to come too. We can't go down there without him. Both Brady and Crew spoke at once. Why? Let's say Reed patted Brady's shoulder. Just let them both go. You and I can go to the end of the street. Let's say Brady and Atticus spoke over one another. Crew needs to come, one said. Let's see, it has to be Atticus, said the other. Crew had been walking backward away from his friends, but stopped at those odd overlapping sentiments. All right. Everyone took a moment to eye and read the faces of the others. All right, hold on a second. I don't know why it is, but whenever I stream, my watch and my medical bracelet bother me. Doesn't seem to happen to me any other time I'm working in here, but for some reason when I'm streaming, they kind of bother me. All right, everyone took a moment to eye and read the faces of the others. They all saw confusion and fear there. Crew just shook his head. What's going on? Why does it have to be Crew? Okay, let's say, why do you think it has to be Crew? Brady asked. Why do you think it has to be me? Atticus twisted in Brady's grip. Reed turned in a full circle. Let's say, why were you told to come? Crew. Crew held up his hands and said, you guys were the ones who insisted we keep going. What's gotten into all of you? Reed narrowed his eyes. All right. Do you know about the sacrifices, Crew? The hell are you talking about? Don't tell him, Atticus said. He's already freaked out enough. Brady let go of Atticus and asked, who do you think is being sacrificed? Sacrificed? Crew felt like he needed to run and never stop. But he couldn't seem to get his legs in working order again. Reed said, my parents told me it was you, Brady. Brady put a hand to his chest and backed up a step. I'm not being sacrificed. It's Atticus's year. You brought me here to sacrifice? Atticus said. What kind of friend are you? No one is being sacrificed, Crew yelled. His voice echoed off the dark houses. No one is being sacrificed, Crew yelled. His voice echoed off the dark houses. Atticus said, it's Crew's year. He was chosen. That's what my dad said. They all backed away from each other. Reed said, at least two of us have been lied to. Why? Why did they send us all with different instructions? What are you guys talking about? Crew demanded. Reed asked, what did your dad say about the sacrifices, Crew? Nothing. My dad just told me. Okay, hold on. He tried to run the earlier conversation through his head, but was too freaked out to remember. Nothing about sacrifices. What game are you guys playing? Reed looked at the others. I think it's Crew. He's the only one who doesn't know about it. I agree, Atticus said. Let's get Crew to the end of the street before it's too late. Crew shuffled backward a few short steps, but held up both his hands in front of him. He was okay. So he imagined himself trying to outrun Atticus and Brady. They both did freshman football and track. Crew mostly got his exercise running to the bathroom. Just stop, guys. Don't. Whatever this is. Okay. Atticus advanced on Crew, but Brady put both hands on Atticus's chest to stop him. I was told it was you. My dad wouldn't. Hold on. Atticus swatted. Alright, to stop him, let's say Brady said. I don't want to be confusing about who's talking here. Brady said. Atticus swatted Brady's hands away. You're in for a world of hurt if you try to stop me. Guys, Reed said. I think it just needs to be one sacrifice. I don't know that it matters who. Guys, Reed said, I think it just needs to be one sacrifice. I don't know that it matters who. We just need to get someone down there now. Easy for you to say, Atticus said. Easy for you to say, Atticus said. No one came here thinking it was you, unless Crew didn't listen to his father. Okay, what do you guys mean by sacrifices? Crew asked. Are you being serious right now? Lights flared up in the glass enclosed. Okay, hold on. Let's spell this right. The glass enclosed lanterns at the top of iron posts all along the street. The houses. Hold on, let me put a period there. Alright, the houses weren't just dark They were all painted black on both sides of the street, including the windows. Crew fixated on the fact that this street had gaslight lamps. Atticus struggled with Brady. We're out of time. We need to get him to the end of the street. My dad wouldn't lie to me, Brady said. They wrestled each other to the pavement. Reed reached for Crew's hand. Come on, man. We have to do this. Everyone is depending on us. Everyone in the world. Crew drew back away from his friend. Don't touch me. Leave me alone, Reed. I swear to God. Alright. Just come on. Alright, just come on. Reed took hold of Crew's left wrist. Please, this is important. All right, please, this is important. Crew took a swing and rocked Reed's jaw. His friend staggered away, holding his mouth. Alright, Crew's thumb really hurt. He thought maybe he had punched wrong. Okay. Reed just stared with his mouth covered and his eyes glistening in the gaslight. Are you seriously looking at me like I did something wrong? Crew said. You're trying to sacrifice me or whatever the hell you guys are playing at. Reed shook his head. Through his muffling hand, he said, "Please, crew, come on. We have to." Reed stepped forward and crew backed away. Reed dropped his hands and held up his palms. One was smeared with blood. A little more trickled from one corner of his mouth. Crew, just stop. If we leave this street, before this is finished, the whole world is in danger. Crew shook his head as he continued to back away. What does that mean? How would you even know that? Say, Jesus, crew. Everyone knows that. Reed continued to pace toward crew continue to pace toward crew. How have you gone this long without knowing the truth? What truth, man? I'll say, dude. I have no idea what, let's say, both Atticus and Brady screamed at the same time. Both Atticus and Brady screamed at the same time. Reed turned around and covered his mouth with both hands. Crew stepped out to the side to see what was going on, but he wished he never had. Skeletons. Right. Skeletons covered the other two boys and tore away flesh, let's say clothing and flesh, with their teeth and bony fingers. Reed held a hand out to Crew. Come on, man. It's not too late, but we have to do this now. Screw you. Crew turned and ran. Then it was Reed who screamed. Alright. Crew passed the black street sign for ordeal cut and felt like he had run through a glass wall. It was such a jolt that he stopped and looked down at himself in the edge of the light thrown by the gaslight lamps. He was surprised not to be cut by whatever he had pushed through. He raised his eyes to see another skeleton. This one with sharpened metal teeth, taking apart Reed's thigh. "Please," he screamed. "Everyone will die if you don't come back. Everyone in the world." Let's say Atticus and Brady both finally fell silent as enough of them got torn apart. The feeding skeletons let the bites of flesh, of flesh tumble down between their ribs and onto the ground. The skulls of these animated bones were painted in deep red. Crew turned and ran away from his friends for quite some time. All the houses along all the streets were dark now. He searched for the street names he had recognized on the way in. He saw nothing he could read much less recognize. Okay. He searched he searched for the street names that he recognized on the way in. He saw nothing he could read, much less recognize. Every sign was black iron now. In the scant, discolored moonlight, he saw symbols that looked nothing like letters. This continued street after street. All right, let me make this a new paragraph. We're in the home stretch here and almost done. All right, this continued street after street. He was afraid to stop for fear that the skeletons from Ordeal Cut might follow. He was afraid to keep going for fear of getting more and more lost. All right. He considered knocking on a door along one of these strange streets, but he feared what might answer. Crew considered hiding in one of the yards, but things seemed to be moving in among the bushes. Or maybe the bushes moved restlessly on their own. He decided to keep moving until morning. But the night stretched on and on. The moon shifted between Halloween colors. It went from full to quarter and back to full as it circled the sky that seemed to resist the rising of the sun. If light did not come soon, Crew feared he might just collapse in the street. Of course, he had not seen a single car all night. So maybe he would be fine as long as a skeleton did not discover him. Crew turned down another street and shuffled along. He continued to hold onto a thin, exhausted hope that it would be just one more street before he found a sign he recognized. Just one more street.